Letting go Kia, of toxic relationships is not an act of cruelty or indifference. It is the deepest expression of self-compassion and clarity. In Zen, we are taught that attachment leads to suffering, and clinging to relationships that cloud the mind, tighten the chest, or drain the spirit is like grasping thorns with bare hands, believing they are flowers. Detachment is not disconnection. It is a loving spaciousness where your well-being is honored and the nature of all things is accepted. When you sit quietly and breathe with the pain of goodbye, you begin to see that letting go is not abandonment, but freedom. Zen reminds us that relationships are like the seasons. Some come to warm us, others to teach us stillness. Holding on to what no longer serves your growth is like keeping dead leaves on a branch, afraid the tree will not bloom again. But life does bloom again, always, when there is space. In your stillness, you will discover that love is not possession, but presence, not control, but compassion. And in this stillness, you will learn to bow gently to what was, thank it for its teachings, and walk on, not with bitterness, but with grace. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means accepting. The echoes of the past will visit, sometimes with a whisper, sometimes with a roar. But in Zen, we do not chase away echoes. We sit with them, observe them, and allow them to dissolve on their own. When we hold space for our emotions without judgment, we give ourselves the permission to heal. Toxic relationships often linger in the mind as unfinished stories, loops of what could have been, what should have been. But Zen invites us to return to the breath, to this moment, where no story lives, only presence. In presence, we do not rewrite the past, we release it. Each exhale becomes a gesture of surrender, each inhale a quiet renewal of strength. The pain of letting go is real, but beneath it lies a deeper peace, like still water beneath stormy waves. This peace becomes clearer the longer we sit with it. In Zen, the heart is not armored but open. We are not asked to harden against those who hurt us, but to soften our grip on needing them to be different. We bow not to their actions, but to the lessons their presence brought into our lives. Some came to teach us boundaries, some came to mirror our own unhealed parts, and some came to show us the power of walking away. The Zen path is not about escaping people, but about finding the freedom to stay rooted in peace no matter who comes or goes. Loving detachment means we care, but we are not consumed. We feel, but we are not flooded. We can wish someone well and still walk alone. We can offer compassion without offering ourselves up to be hurt again. There is no timeline for release, no correct pace. The letting go unfolds like petals, one by one, until what once felt like grief becomes gratitude. The practice is gentle. It is daily. It is breath by breath. And through it, we begin to find ourselves again, not the version of us shaped by the pain, but the one that existed before the wound, the original mind, the beginner's mind, the silent witness. From here we see clearly, not everyone we lose is a loss. Sometimes we are not breaking down. We are breaking open. And in that opening, we make space for relationships that are rooted in truth, in presence, in peace. And when we finally begin to feel the space that letting go creates, quiet, vast, sometimes even unfamiliar, we may be tempted to rush in and fill it. But Zen teaches us to honor the space, to resist the urge to distract, to replace, to numb. Because the emptiness left behind is not a void, it is potential, it is sacred, it is the silence in which your true self speaks. Sit with that space, breathe into it. It is the fertile ground where healing begins and clarity arises. For too long, the noise of toxicity may have drowned your inner voice, But now, in this stillness, you begin to remember you were never broken, only buried beneath expectation, blame, and false obligation. Letting go of toxic relationships is not just an external act, it is an inner return. It is the soft but firm refusal to abandon yourself again. It is choosing peace over chaos, truth over comfort, and growth over familiarity. In the Zen way, we do not force detachment. We allow it to blossom naturally through awareness. We notice how our bodies feel after certain conversations, how our minds react to certain dynamics. We bring mindfulness to each interaction, not to judge others, but to better understand the energy we invite into our lives. Over time, the discernment grows. We no longer need to explain ourselves because we begin to trust what our spirit knows instinctively. Even when we feel fear in releasing someone, fear of loneliness, fear of regret, we can meet that fear with compassion. Zen teaches that the mind will cling, but the heart knows how to let go. Not out of bitterness, but out of love. True love, the kind that arises from presence, will never ask you to sacrifice your wholeness. And so, we walk away, not to punish, but to preserve. We step back, not to control, but to come home to ourselves. We loosen our grip, not because we don't care, but because we finally care enough to stay centered in what is real. As we continue this path, we realize that the peace we seek was never found in changing others, but in understanding ourselves. And the deeper we go, the more we see that the most sacred relationship we will ever have is with this very moment. In this moment, we can choose to return again and again to our breath, our body, our truth. We can choose to live with an open heart and clear eyes, welcoming what aligns, releasing what doesn't, and resting in the knowing that we are not here to hold it all. We are here to let life flow through us, with grace. And in this expansion, we begin to discover that letting go is not a single act, but a sacred rhythm, a gentle, continuous release that mirrors the breath itself. Inhale presence, exhale attachment. The toxic relationship may have passed, but the echoes remain, calling for healing in layers. Zen invites us not to rush this process, but to treat it like tending a quiet garden. You do not pull at flowers to make them bloom faster. You nourish the roots, clear away the weeds, and let the light do the rest. So too with the heart. Nurture it with truth, clear it of illusions, and allow love to return naturally, unforced. As the past rises like waves, Zen asks only one thing of you. Do not resist. Simply observe. Let memories come and go without clinging. If sadness appears, greet it like an old friend. If anger visits, offer it tea. In stillness, we understand that emotions are not enemies. They are messengers, signaling where love must go. When we bring mindful compassion to the wounds left by others, we become the healer we once waited for. And in that moment, we stop seeking closure from someone else and realize we are our own closure. The door to peace opens inward. Day by day, we come to recognize the subtle signs of inner freedom. When the need to prove fades, when we stop explaining our worth, when silence becomes soothing rather than scary. Zen shows us that wholeness is not found by adding more, but by removing what never belonged. It is a path of subtraction, of dissolving the layers that obscure our essence. And in this shedding, we return to a simplicity so profound, it almost feels unfamiliar. A life where we no longer chase love, but embody it. No longer fear solitude, but cherish it. The beauty of the Zen path is its quiet power. There are no dramatic declarations, no final confrontations, just the soft, unwavering decision to honor your peace more than your past. As you walk away from what harms, you walk toward what heals. You choose boundaries over resentment, stillness over drama, truth over tolerance, and slowly the heart realigns. Slowly the soul exhales. Slowly joy returns, not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally present. Letting go is not forgetting. It is remembering who you are beneath the story. It is trusting that love is not found in attachment, but in freedom. And as you continue forward, guided not by anger, but by clarity, you begin to embody the very wisdom Zen whispers through the wind, the water, and the breath. You are already enough. You are already home. Close your eyes, if you haven't already, and gently allow yourself to settle into this space. Let this moment be a pause, not in your day, but in your striving. Feel the breath entering through the nose, soft, cool, and effortless. Feel it leave through the mouth, warm and generous, as if your very being is learning how to release. Breathe in peace. Breathe out expectation. Breathe in silence. Breathe out the stories. With each breath, allow your shoulders to drop, your jaw to relax, your chest to open. You are safe here. You are allowed to stop holding on. You are allowed to soften. In the stillness that follows letting go, something beautiful begins to surface. You start to hear the whisper of your own soul, long buried beneath the noise of pleasing others, of trying to fix what was never yours to fix, of carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. The whisper doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply invites. It says, return to yourself. Come home to peace. And in that quiet voice lies all the wisdom you've ever needed. You realize that love is not a transaction, but a state of being. That freedom is not escape, but presence. That healing is not about what they did or didn't do. It's about what you're willing to release. Zen teaches us that loving detachment is the ultimate act of compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. To detach lovingly means we recognize the truth in others without trying to change them. We accept what is, without resistance, and trust that what is meant for us will remain, and what isn't will fall away, no longer needed. This isn't apathy, it's awareness. It's choosing peace over performance, depth over drama, truth over temporary. In this surrender, we find a love that doesn't bind but liberates. Think of a leaf in the fall, releasing its branch not with force, but with grace. It lets go because the time is right, and as it falls, it dances, unafraid, unresisting, unburdened. Can you be like the leaf? Can you trust that letting go is not an end, but a beginning? That something beautiful awaits you in the space that letting go creates? Begin to feel that space within you now. Not empty, but open. Not lost, but expansive. This is the gift of loving detachment. You have not failed. You have simply outgrown what was once aligned. And now, you're choosing not to shrink to fit, but to grow to heal. Let yourself expand into this awareness. Let your heart widen with compassion for who you've been, and with courage for who you are becoming. No more fighting the tide. No more clinging to closed doors. Just this moment. Just this breath. Just this clarity. And in this space, perhaps you begin to sense a deeper kind of love rising, one that asks nothing of you, but to be, to simply exist as you are, not proving, not chasing, not fixing, just being. This is the love you've been seeking all along, and it lives in you. Let your next breath be a gentle bow to yourself, for the strength to walk away, for the softness to heal, and for the wisdom to love without holding. Zen is not about becoming. It is about returning to the truth that has always lived inside you. And the truth is this: you are free. If this message resonates, Subscribe for daily Zen reflections and guided wisdom to help you reconnect, reflect, and become fully yourself. Until then, remember, let go of anger. Let go of pride. When you are bound by nothing, you go beyond sorrow.